Hey guys, Chris Mathis here. It is awesome to be able to record these videos. Big shout out to my buddy James Demaray and all that he does to be able to capture our hunts. We had an incredible hunting season this year. My hunting season it consisted of helping friends and family, and I didn't get a lot of hunting time for myself, but in this video you're gonna see Nikki, you're gonna see my uncle Denny Helms, you're gonna see a good friend of mine, David Chamberlain from Crestview, Florida, and then had some time to even hunt with my kids. But our season started out with my uncle coming up this year, and night one he smoked a giant, a huge Alberta buck. And it's a successful stand that I have some property and some permission on way up in northern Alberta, and we've been watching this deer all summer long. And night one, he was able to put the smack down on him. Incredible buck. Good job, Uncle Denny. Had a time of my life on that trip. I think he scored right around 155, maybe. He would have been bigger, but he was missing a couple of his tines here. He was in velvet, and so yeah, this is a Alberta toad, to say the least. He is a beautiful, beautiful deer. And yeah, so our season after that kind of shifted a little bit. I did some hunting with the kids. My son was able to take a bear off our property, off our quarter section. My daughter took a small buck that she got a little antsy on instead of holding out for a big one, but it was meat in the freezer, and she was happy. We took a couple does with our doe tags, and then my youngest daughter shot a bear, but we could not recover him. It was a gruesome experience as far as searching miles and miles on a blood trail that just went cold. And so that was that. And then our final trip during the rut up north, we had David Chamberlain, a good longtime friend of mine from Crestview, Florida, and he came up, and I think it was night 1 or 2 in the same stand that my uncle shot that velvet buck. He shot also an Alberta toad.
Well, yeah, she came out and milled around, and then about a minute and a half, a little buck came following her. He was trailing her. And when he turned and made a loop, I could see how wide he was.
And you knew then he was a shooter, no question at that point.
And he never slowed down, and he was headed back. They made a lap.
You hit a shoulder shot there?
Yeah, drilled him.
The big concern that we all had was David coming up here. He's a man's man, he's a hunter, he knows what he's doing, but can the man's man handle the Canadian North? And he proved us that he is definitely even a man in Canada. He sat out there all day, a couple times, and killed a big old deer, so we're happy for him.
Got lucky. I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
That's right.
It's been great.
This was his buck. I think it was right at also 150, and a lot of mass. This guy came out chasing a doe, and a typical Alberta rut, scenario. He had no clue in the world. He had one thing on his mind, and that was to breed a doe, and David was able to put the smack down on this guy. Unfortunately, that wasn't recorded, even though James was there. James was sitting with me and my wife throughout that week.
Try deer. If you don't like deer, you run out.
We're putting all of our attention on Nikki Mathis, my wife. She hunted hard this year. She sat numerous hours, early season, mid-season, late season, and she was holding out for a good, decent shooter buck. It was as every hunter knows, a season of sorrows for her.
They're moving now. Chris said that he saw deer all night long feeding and coming out and running around. Pressure's really good today, so today's the day.
This is my favorite place to hunt because I just like how it's like tucked away off near all the roads.
We had Des Belford with us. He was up at camp. He was hunting elk. Of course, me and David and Nikki were sitting long sit. So we endured all day in the cold. And after about the third day of Nikki sitting, We were driving back to camp midday just to kind of break up the day a little bit to get a little lunch. And on the way back, in a field that we had permission on, pretty much a flat farm field, we saw a buck that had a doe pinned down. He wasn't a giant, but I think at that point, Nikki was just ready to tag out. It was just cold and, you know, kind of at the point in the season where she was just ready to be done.
We can get on the other side of these trees and just ease down to that drain. And then we'll sneak in as far as we think we can. And if we don't think we can get close enough, then Chris is going to just walk in from that way. And he should get up and run right into the wind, right to it.
We had to get a real strategy and a game plan because he was in the middle of the field. He was probably 700-800 yards away, would be about the center of the field, maybe more.
Yeah, they're there. He laid down.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, they laid down. They're in the same spot, just on the other side of that little draw.
Good deal. We can't see the deer yet. He's still in the little bottom.
We had to get Nikki set up downwind. So I was on one side of the field trying to keep the buck's attention a little bit off them. They walked all the way around down this little coulee and tried to sneak up on this deer. And I think got about 400 yards from this deer is about the closest that they felt comfortable.
Brown patch of weed. We want to get that, keep that right between us and him. If we can get out there to that, we want to just take our time. If we get about halfway, we'll slow down long enough to catch your breath.
David Chamberlain was kind of helping Nikki in this situation, which was a new situation for her. She's usually sitting in a blind or a tree stand or, you know, still hunting basically. So trying to put a spot and stalk on a deer was a little bit of a new situation for her.
We go about another 40 yards or so, we stop. And then if you can pull out there and just stop and get him to stand up. But pull between, you know, you need to be on the east side of it because we're probably going to shoot a little westward. Steady and you got a shot and you feel like you can make it, just shoot.
Yeah, I will. I just wanted to turn.
But he may come this way. Let's see what he does. Ooh, right in front of him. Shoot it right at the top of his back. Hang on. All right, shoot right at the top of his back. Right at the base of his neck. You're right under him. Try it again. A little bit higher. Right, it's still a little bit low. That's a long shot.
Let's see if it comes back on the other side.
Yeah, so they put the spot on, got about 400 yards, got set up, but it was just a little bit too far for her comfortability shooting. And it was a kind of a roller coaster of emotion for I think everyone having to walk and hike, and I was trying to keep the deer's attention on my end of the field just to try to help their little stalk there.
Sometimes they're not worried about the wind, but they're just worried about the doe. And also that you need to have more bullets on you in case you go through all 3 rounds.
But again, that's part of hunting, and every hunter has those stories. Yeah, so the little bit of sitting that I had, James was with me, and we endured the Alberta cold as well. November 16th. So hypothetically, they say that's the middle of the rut where a lot of deer action is. We haven't seen much. Just last year, Nikki and I were up here and it was kind of dead for a few days around this time, and then it was like a light switch came on and it was full on Alberta rut. Deer sign all out here. Rattling, grunting, trying to get something stirred up, and we didn't really have anything that was a shooter. We had some buck action that came in. Beautiful snow, and the scenery was breathtaking. We sat and chatted, and were hopeful that something was going to walk out. Matter of fact, one morning I actually had to I had to go to the bathroom and walked out of the blind, went to the woods to do my business, and when I was coming back, there was a buck standing on the tree line, and I didn't have my shooting stick. I had my rifle, and it was one of those kind of John Wayne style. Threw my rifle up, tried to situate it steady. It was about 200-yard shot, and also missed. It scared the crap out of James because he didn't know what was coming. It was from, you know, outside of the blind, and all of a sudden he hears this boom go off, this gunshot, and yeah, I got back in the blind and kind of kicked myself in the rear end, like, why did I even shoot? I could have probably snuck back in the blind and settled down, but it was one of those just kind of moments of you do what you do in the moment. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know what I love also about deer camp is the friends, the fellowship, being able to hang out, eating dinner, laughing, coming back to camp, telling stories, hearing everybody's scenarios and situations that they had throughout the day. It's something, again, that I look forward to every single year, and I love being able to capture these moments. It was a memorable season, and we're hoping our luck will be a little bit better next year. As I said, I put a lot of my efforts and attention into helping others get their success stories this year, and I was pretty much almost successful at that, minus Nikki, but it is a passion. I come alive. I love hunting. I love putting meat in the freezer, but I also enjoy capturing these moments. You know, it's a real blessing and an honor to be able to capture these moments and have them for keepsakes, and hopefully you enjoy them, and stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some more of these videos out soon.